Before we talk too much about the design of certificate distribution, we want to first identify the certificate enrollment process. And this is something that we've touched on a little bit in previous modules here, certainly, but we want to just kind of tie it all together and consolidate the information here and identify what that enrollment process is. Essentially, it's a two-step process. You have, in the certificate enrollment process, an entity that requests a certificate, and then the certificate authority either approves or conversely it might deny. But really the two steps are request and approval of the certificate. Now, there are essentially then three enrollment processes. There's the process for CA enrollment, where a certificate authority installs and requests its own certification authority certificate. And then there is manual end user enrollment for applications, users, computers, and automatic end user enrollment. So even though we use the term end user, it can be applied to lots of things here. So first we talk about the CA enrollment process, and during that we have a clearly defined parent-child relationship, and this is most clearly seen when we look at establishing our CA hierarchy. We configure first the root of the CA hierarchy, and then anything we add to the hierarchy, then the first thing that we add, it will become a child of the parent. And then as we add more, these can be children of this parent or children of this parent. But here we have a parent-child relationship between the root and our second level, or maybe an intermediary level of CAs. So here's what happens during that process. First of all, the child administrator, the administrator of the child CA, will select the type of CA to be installed. And so as you've seen previously, this can be either a standalone subordinate CA or an enterprise subordinate CA. Then the administrator of the parent CA selects the proper parent CA, or enters the parent CA, from which the child is going to request the certificate. A key pair for the CA certificate is going to be generated by the child certification authority, the one that will become that child certification authority. The parent then generates the CA and sends it to the child to be, and then the child CA installs the certificate in its certificate store. That will enable it then to be a certification authority in the hierarchy. The other type of enrollment process here that users or administrators may get involved with is the manual end user enrollment process. And this is something that's done if automatic certificate enrollment is not configured. So how this starts is that a user or an enrollment agent, someone who has the authority on behalf of a user to request and install a certificate, initiates a request, and that can be done by completing a form, usually from a website where the entity can request a certificate. But this can be also done with other tools like the Certificates Console, MMC Snap-in. Then the certificate at the certification authority is either issued right away or it's set to pending. Now obviously if the certificate is issued, it's issued, but if it's set to pending, then the administrator of that CA must manually approve the issuance of the certificate. If that is the case, that the automatic installment and issuance is not configured, then the requesting user must then check back to, again, usually the website for the certificate authority to obtain and then install the certificate. Finally, automatic end user enrollment. This is what we try to design for if that's something that will fit into the security needs of our organization, and that's because once we configure end user enrollment automatically, then it reduces a lot of administrative overhead. So when automatic end user enrollment occurs, certificates are automatically issued for either users or computers. This is new with Server 2003. We can issue certificates to users. But in order to do this, keep in mind that certificate templates must first be configured for automatic enrollment to occur. And why might this be a good idea? Well, if you are dealing with smart cards in your environment, certificates are going to have to be issued and installed with those smart cards. So a user could just insert their smart card in the smart card reader, and with automatic end user enrollment enabled, those certificates could be automatically made a part of the identification process as that user presents his network credentials to the network.